Thank you very much. Thank you. So I always start off my talks with one question. So show of hands, who in the room has inquired with a business before and then been left thinking, oh, what happens next? Show of hands. Keep your hands up if that made you more likely to buy their product. Good, nobody has ever kept their hands up yet. I don't know what to do the day that somebody actually does. What I'm going to go into, and I'm going to make this talk really interactive, is the value of the quality of what happens after their marketing. So, I got into this because my background is front-end marketing. I started and got into marketing in the same way that I think all of us do, by being a DJ in Magaluf. I have some stories that I'm not allowed to say at any point, but while I was over there, it developed my ability to micromanage and understand human behavior. So I started developing, right, what are people likely to do? What music am I likely to play? What drinks am I likely to offer people to get the bar busy in an environment where you're pre-programmed to want to leave and go everywhere else? Now, while I was out there, as every romantic story is, I met my lovely wife. She doesn't know she's in this presentation. She's going to kill me when she edits these videos later on. We have recently had, well, not recently, we have a 3-year-old, and that kind of made me wonder, right, how much time have I got? Because as business owners and people in business in general, none of us have any more than 24 hours a day. So what can I do to save myself time? And that kind of led me to here. We have our second baby on the way in December, and she is so annoyed that I'm not at home 7 months pregnant looking after our 3-year-old, and I'm definitely not going to a 3-day 5-star business retreat at the end of this week. So I want to make this really interactive. I'm going to do something that most speakers here won't do, and I'm going to get you to get your phones out, and I want you to turn them on to loud, and I want you to turn the volume all the way up, because we're going to make this really interactive. And while you've got your phones out, I can see some of you going, get your phones out. I will not continue the presentation until everybody has done this, and I will get you to scan that rather large QR code there. During this talk, I am going to WhatsApp you from stage, and I am going to get you to interact with that, send me messages. I'm also going to gift you guys my full 24-page follow-up for my own business that details every single thing that I do. You can take that, run with it, use it, whatever you want to do. If you want to pay me to tell you how to do it, we can have that conversation later. So I'll let everybody else go through. There are still a few phones up. Now, all that's going to ask you to do is enter a few bits of information, because if I do work with any of you in the building today, I will ask questions later on. I don't need a 20-page form to work out if you're going to be qualified at that stage. And for you guys and your clients and their customers, you don't need to ask a huge amount up front. So show of hands, just so that I know the room that I'm with. Who runs e-commerce stores, anything like that? Whose business is primarily lead generated or leads based, so you need leads to come in to survive? Who out of the room is like a marketing company or that kind of thing? Brilliant. I love hearing that noise, by the way. It means things are working. I'm going to put my phone on the side, because my wife always goes nuts when this happens. Those of you just getting a picture of my face coming through, I do apologize that I didn't tell you that that was going to happen in the first place. Also, spoiler alert, you're going to get a video from me at 7 o'clock tonight thanking you for watching the presentation and spending half an hour at the time. Because I've told you, that makes me GDPR compliant. I'm pretty sure it does. So there are a few buttons that you can press. Your hair is... Who said your hair is messy? Thanks. Those of you that haven't got the message have no idea what I'm talking about. Those of you that have will understand that. So I want to go back to where everything sort of starts and back to Texas. So Houston Airport in Texas had a problem around about 2012. They were getting a lot of complaints from people about the amount of time that baggage was taking to get to the baggage belts. So they did what most companies would do, and they found an engineering solution, and they reduced the waiting time down from what would have been 16 minutes down to 8 minutes. Now, who can guess what continued happening? Feel free to shout out. People still complained. It didn't matter that it was halved, people still complained. So in 2012, they hired a contractor to come in, and he said, I've got a solution, park the planes further away. Still took 8 minutes, but 7 of those minutes were people walking from the plane to go to the belt. All of the complaints stopped. because people understand that they had to travel to go and get the baggage. That time was occupied, and it's so important, and more important, that the quality of somebody's time is far more important than the quantity of that time. If you go into a restaurant and the waiter turns around and says to you, right, just to let you know there's a 40-minute wait on food, if your food comes out in 35 minutes, you've exceeded their expectations. But if you didn't tell them that, on 30 minutes, they're going to look at their watch and go, where the hell's my food? I will anyway, that's how I have this lovely physique. I call this the inquiry anxiety problem. The issue of what happens next. Any uncertainty in your customer journey is going to hinder you further down the line. Most businesses have some framework like this, where they will focus, and most people in this room will focus on the front-end marketing to get somebody to do something. What I call the jazzy hands at the start to get somebody to fill out a form, and that is incredibly important. Everything that's been talked about today from a marketing perspective is important for your business. You need that visibility. But most businesses, in my experience, forget about this bit. From the point at which they fill the form out, what happens next? My most hated sentence I hear from business owners at the moment is, oh, I get back to them as soon as I can. Brilliant. As soon as you can, could be 2 weeks, it could be an hour, it could be 5 minutes. It isn't as soon as your customer wants that response. And you can only automate that because none of us are available 24/7. From the point at which your customer does the thing that you want, their interest is only ever going to fall off in most situations unless you're doing something to get them back up to that level. So I say to people, right, during their process, knowing that you're not going to be able to get back to them straight away, let's put things in there. Let's have a WhatsApp video. Let's have a voice note. Let's send things that they're going to read, they're going to listen, they're going to watch, that gets them from their first point all the way through. Now, a lot of people in here will probably agree. Actually, show of hands, who agrees that the faster somebody can fill out a form, the more likely they are to do it? Good. Those of you with your hands down, I'm just going to assume that you just keep your hands down. It is significantly more likely that somebody will fill out a form. And as my wife keeps on telling me, something that only lasts 1 minute isn't particularly memorable. It's been a very long pregnancy, to be honest, this one. The point is, if somebody's spending a very short amount of time at that front level of your marketing, the chances of them wanting to do more further down the line is going to be less. So you want to engage them more, up until the point at which you can get in touch. So the common sales assumption, I'll ask this question, right? Let's say we've got a campaign that we've spent £1,000 in ad spend for, it's generated 100 leads, and that's turned into 10 sales. If I said to this room, I want to generate 20 sales from that campaign next month, what's the go-to answer? Please shout at me what your first thought was. 2,000. You double the spend. That's what most people will say. That is what most people will respond to. My response is, you've still got 90 people that have done the thing that you want them to do. You're going to pay another $2,000 to get another 200 people to do. Let's work on the 90. Let's work on the people who have already actioned the thing by giving them a more fluid and better process, and by following up more often. I think it was one of the ladies before me, about 2 talks before, was talking about the abandoned cart. You don't just send one email, you send multiple ones, because that person's 1 click away from giving you money. Why wouldn't you send an extra one? And the worst thing that you're going to do in that situation is mildly irritate somebody that was probably not going to buy anyway. So this is my customer journey, and I'm going to go into a little bit more depth, right? Let's say this campaign generated 100 leads. 40% of them picked up the phone, which is probably a little bit generous in terms of actual people picking up a call if it's been more than half an hour. Let's say you had an amazing phone call, 50% of those people book on to your meeting. 75% of those people turn up. Show of hands, who's ever had anybody not turn up to a meeting? Bastards, all of them. You'll learn about this later on in my slide. My current no-show rate on meetings is 1.3% because of how I format it as I go through, and I'll detail that as well. So let's say 15 of those people attend and your sales team absolutely smash it and they convert 2/3 of those people. You've got 10 sales. That's how that campaign works. My point, and what I hope you take away from today, is if we focus in on those individual elements, if we can send them a WhatsApp video as soon as they fill out that form, engage them, get them spending more time, being more memorable, building trust with you as a business, and incentivizing them to book their own call instead of waiting for your call, we can get more people doing it. If I can get that number up at that first bit, and because of the quality of that process, I can get more people booking into a meeting. I've built that trust. Naturally, more people are going to want to get to that next stage, and I've made it really clear on what that next stage is and what that next stage should look like. So if I get to this bit, I then remind people with WhatsApp videos. If you ever book a meeting with me, you'll get a confirmation via email and WhatsApp. 24 hours before the meeting, I send you a video on WhatsApp telling you what's going to happen in the meeting. I tell you exactly what that process is going to look like, set the expectations, tell you it's a sales call. I say if at the end of that process you feel like we'd be a good fit to work together, I'll raise a proposal, send it over to you, and we will book a call where you say yes or no to working together. I also, at that stage, ask them questions about their business through an automated chatbot. And if anybody that did receive that WhatsApp message types in the word flow into the conversation that we're having, it'll ask you to pick a card and give you an example. Also, I shouldn't say this, but if you tell me to fuck off in the message, it will send you a picture back. And whenever I do that, there are always people that just go, oh, really? But it will send you a picture back. And I always know who's the best people in the room because I can then look at my phone and see who's doing it live on the screen. This, by the way, if you ever wanted to know how effective it is, this is my notifications over the last 2 minutes. Lee was the first one to tell me to fuck off. Rachel told me to fuck off. Thanks, Ray. You work here. But you will get a photo back. If you say duck off, by the way, it'll send you a different photo back and ask you if you actually meant duck. So I want to make it really hyper engaging for you. I want people to ask questions. I want to know information before they turn up. So I can up that no-show, lower that no-show rate, up that attendee rate at my meetings, which means if the sales team in this scenario still convert 2/3 of their leads, we've tripled the amount of sales that campaign has generated without spending an extra penny on marketing. It's not about replacing your marketing. You still need that at the front end. It's about making it more effective further down the line. Now, I want you guys to be really honest here. If you had somebody coming to you today that wanted to spend 10 times more money than any client has ever spent with you, hands up, show of hands, who thinks their follow-up process for your business would be different to what your normal customer journey is? I appreciate the honesty. My next question is why? If you have somebody that's willing to spend more money with your business and you put them through a more consistent, more fluid process, why shouldn't that be the same for everybody else? I was talking to the lovely ladies at the charity stand earlier on about Usain Bolt, doing the whoop whoop in the background, talking about Usain Bolt in 2008. At the Beijing Olympics, for 10 days, all he ate was chicken nuggets. It was 100 chicken nuggets a day. I'm so impressed with the man, it's unbelievable. But when asked why he ate 1,000 chicken nuggets in the build-up to it, he said, the most important thing for me right now is not getting sick. And the benefit of McDonald's is I know their food is going to be consistent. I know I'm not going to get sick. Whereas I might get sick trying something new. That consistency through McDonald's is one of the reasons they're the biggest fast food brand in the world. You know what you get when you walk through the door. That should be the same for your business. So I talk a lot about the every case scenario, the thing that all of your businesses, all of your clients, all of your leads should go through. First thing I do whenever I work with any business is I build up a plan and I work out every stage of their customer journey and I work out what should happen next in granular detail. I go in and say, right, at this stage when they fill out the form, they should have this WhatsApp video, this email, it should do this purpose, it should look like this. And for my clients, I even record that video if I was them and tell them to produce one and send it back over to me. Question, how much more effective is it getting back to somebody within 5 minutes of their inquiry versus 30 minutes? And I think most people in this room would agree that 30 minutes is still not bad. How much more effective? 2 times, 3 times? Shout out words to me. 3, 4? It's 21 times more effective. There's a little link at the bottom there. By the way, if you want any of the slides from this, just send me the word slides and it will send you back all of the slides because I like showing off. It's 21 times more effective to get back to somebody within the first 5 minutes. Because who runs Facebook lead generation ads or has run in the past? Show of hands. Right? They are really effective ads to run because they're so easy for somebody to fill out. The issue with them is the thing that they do as soon as they fill out the form is they X out the form and they continue scrolling. That's your natural next step. If at that stage they got a notification at the top saying this business has just sent you a video on WhatsApp, you're going to open the video. And I'm taking you from 30 seconds of engagement to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then going down a rabbit hole that I want you to go. But ultimately, I've interrupted the pattern of you scrolling through social media. So this is how my plan looks. I get leads in from a variety of different places: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I film a lot of content for TikTok. I'm filming myself at the moment to chop myself down to content, also to prove to my wife I'm actually here and not just in the spa. They fill out a form, they go to a landing page which looks like this. And if you ever do this on my TikTok, as long as the systems work in the way that it should do, I say in that video, thank you so much for filling out that form and getting to this point. In a few seconds, just above my head, there will be a WhatsApp message. And at that time, a WhatsApp message comes through. It's beautiful when it works. Looks fucking stupid when it doesn't, but most of the time, it works really well. I want to get you diving into that process. I want you in my world. I want you staring at my face for ages, because that's going to build trust, and I want to work with people. That then sends a WhatsApp straight away. And that WhatsApp says, hi, thanks for inquiring. Just to let you know, this is an automated video. I will reach out in the next 24 hours, but in the meantime, I know you have questions. So I'm going to try and answer some of those questions in that video. And if at the end of this, you want to skip the stage where I reach out to you when you're not free, you call me back when I'm with a client, click the button below the video and book in a time into my calendar that suits you. 42% of my inbound inquiries book a meeting in with me within 15 minutes of their inquiry, 24 hours a day, before I have a chance to get them on the phone. Because I lay it out like that. That video has set expectations, told them I'm going to call them, told them exactly what the next logical step is, told them if they continue watching the video, they're going to get value by having questions answered. And I've taken them out of their process of scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So, how do I do this? There are 3 levels of WhatsApp. Now, I'm in a room full of marketers, so a lot of you will probably have heard of this, but there is obviously personal WhatsApp. Show of hands, who has used personal WhatsApp so far today? Actually, show of hands, who hasn't? Nobody's ever put their hand up at this stage. You put your hand down, thank you. WhatsApp for Business, obviously all of you are recognizing them WhatsApp's API. So around about this time last year, Meta opened up the API, the same kind of way ManyChat has been doing with Instagram DMs and Facebook for a while, which allows us to now outbound message automatically. At 7 o'clock tonight, you guys are all going to receive a video from me saying thank you for watching the presentation. That happens automatically. Further spoiler alert, if you don't book a meeting in with me and you don't tell me you're not interested, then tomorrow you're going to get another video saying book a meeting. And one on Thursday, and then one next Monday as well. There are a few of them set up, but I'm giving you the chance to tell me to piss off in that process as well. I want to qualify you out, but if you want to book a meeting, you have ample opportunity, and I've made it really easy for you to do so. So WhatsApp's API, we set up in the back end of Meta Business Manager. I'm not going to go into graphic detail on that today. Feel free to come over to the stand and I can detail that a little bit later on. The reason it's effective is my current open read rate on WhatsApp, which is tracking the 2 blue ticks, so I don't need to worry about third-party tracking, Apple Mail telling me an email is being opened, is currently 95%. It's massive. The global stat on messages within the 10 minutes of them being received by WhatsApp, 80% of all WhatsApp sent are open within 10 minutes of them being sent. That's globally, that's not my stat, that's across the world on WhatsApp. And my current reply rate is 63%. My clients average between like 45 and 60, depending on how engaging I make the message. So, back to my skeletal plan so that you have a bit of structure and understand what I do, right? At this stage, I send them through a WhatsApp that details the video that I was talking about. It's got 2 options at the bottom. It's impressive or meh, it's not for me. To this date, nobody's clicked meh, it's not for me, which is quite nice. It's impressive, then triggers more messages to go back to them. You'll notice I'm not doing a proper call to action at this stage. I want them to engage, I want them to experience it. You guys have all done that out there by pressing buttons and telling me that my hair's messy. If you do click the button that says it's not for me, you get a very sad dog. And those of you that did tell me to fuck off will have also seen really shocked dogs. I have a thing about dogs. But if you click it's impressive, you go, yeah, damn right, brilliant, here are the next steps, let's see a chatbot. And that button does the same thing as if you type in the word flow and pick a card into my process. I want to show off, I want you to be engaged, I want you to spend more time looking at me in a very arrogant way. This is the process that most people go through, and then these are the kind of messages that they get sent. You can interact with my messages as you're going through and get all of those. But the whole purpose is I want you to book a meeting. So you will get to a point, if you've qualified yourself through, to book a meeting into my calendar. And the link is there for you to do so. If you then go through and book a meeting, you go onto a page that most of us will pretty much see. I do mine through Go High Level. I've got clients on Keep, I've got clients on HubSpot. Doesn't really matter as long as you're making it easy for your clients. And then I send confirmation when you book a meeting in. Now, I mentioned that before I have any phone calls, my conversion rate from inquiry to call is 42%. If I then call the remaining ones, that jumps up to 68%. I know that the more I do at this stage, through an automated way, the more it helps me out further down the line. What I'm saying here isn't about you replacing the human in this process. I don't want you to go through this and go, oh, we can automate that, then I don't need to do this. All of this is designed to help that human in the process. And I think one of the mistakes people make when they think about automation is they think, right, what can we do to replace this bit and this bit and this bit and this bit? What you can do is use it, as long as your users are expecting it to come through, as long as they are informed that it is automatic, they're going to be really inclined to go along with it. So if you don't book a meeting in with me, as I said, I've got multiple messages that go out to you over 48 hours and 72 hours, so this will happen to everybody. If you ever want to see what I do, you can type in the words PDF into that WhatsApp and you get sent my full brochure PDF sent through to you. That noise of pings usually means that most of you will receive my 24-page skeletal plan as well. So all of that happens while I'm up on stage. So as I said, I have multiple messages that go out to people as I'm going. If you do book a meeting, I send you that meeting confirmation. That goes through via WhatsApp and email. I then send another one 7 days before, if it's more than 7 days. 24 hours out, you get a video from me telling you what's going to happen. And then 1 hour before, just a message that says, links here, just make it really easy for you. And I have different chains based on different calls. So if I've had a call with you about a demo, I've sent you over a proposal, all of the follow-up follows the same structure, but the content is different, telling you what's going to happen on the follow-up call. Getting loads more messages through, so something's happened. Loads of people are putting PDF, which is always good. PDF. Who spelled PDF wrong? It's 3 fucking letters, I spelt it. As I mentioned, my current meeting no-show rate, or my meeting show-up rate, is 98.57%. I've had 3 no-shows in the last 3 months. That's it. 2 of those called me within an hour of the meeting that it would have finished and said, Chris, I'm so sorry. Let me get booked in, this has happened. One of them's ghosted me. They are my mortal enemy this year. If I get more people turning up to meetings, I make more sales. So I have some key takeaways because I always run a little bit close on time. My key takeaways are this. I say automate where necessary, delegate, automate where possible, delegate where necessary. Now, I don't know if Nick James of Expert Empires, who's a client of mine, was the guy that actually came up with this phrase. He likes to say he is. I don't necessarily believe him. But my thing is, if you can automate something that you're currently giving out to somebody else that would be more effective to your customer if it was done in the right way, automate it. If there's something you have to give to somebody else, delegate that. Next one is don't try and do everything at once. If anybody like me in the room is here going, oh, well, if I can do that, then I can do that, and then we can do this for this client, and then that. The second you get to a list of 30 things that you have to implement, you're just not going to do it. If there are elements of your journey at the moment that you're thinking this might benefit, do 1, 2, 3, and then improve. I'm constantly developing what I do. That video that goes 24 hours before a meeting, I only implemented the version of the video that is going out at the moment about 3 weeks ago. Prior to that, it was a video that just didn't say as much. Prior to that, it was just a picture to remind them that it was 24 hours. Every point I'm trying to develop as I go. Next point is probably a little bit arrogant, but ask for help. Especially in a room like this, there are so many people around that are using different things to you. Ask them, speak to them, speak to experts like me on this subject, speak about how you could use us, pay us, some of us, pay some of us. But if the one thing that baffles me sometimes when I speak to businesses, they say, my competition is smashing it at the moment, and I know our product is better than theirs, and I know that our service is better than theirs. It's like, brilliant, well, what's different? I don't really know. Have you gone on their website and inquired? No. What might be a good idea is to go on their website and inquire. Why? Because then you see why the fuck they're better than you. It's a really, really simple next step. Go and have a look at what other people are doing. Next one is the 3 Ps for me. Be personable, personalised, but don't pretend to be a person. Automation falls down when people think it's a person speaking to them, and in reality it isn't. And the reason I say personable and personalised, most of you will notice the messages that have gone to you have your name pulled through the same way as an email would be. And it's personable because those of you that have seen me at the stand earlier on today and scanned the QR code, you're going to get a video tonight that says thank you for coming by the stand. Those of you that haven't and you've just scanned the one in the presentation, the video will say thank you for watching the presentation. If you scan it on my phone, because I love a QR code, it will say thank you for stopping and speaking to me earlier. If you scan the one on the back of my laptop, I actually can't remember where that one goes, to be fair. There's so many of them going at the moment. It does something, I know it does. I'm trying to be personable because, rather arrogantly, I know that you guys are going to have an amazing day today, learn from all of the speakers. You've already got some nuggets in your head of things that you're going to implement or stats that are going to stick with you forever. There's been some great speakers. You might want to work with some of the other sponsors. None of them are going to send you a video at 7 o'clock saying thank you for speaking to me. Apart from Anne, because you're a client of mine. We're setting up that video later on. That will go at 6:45 though. I don't want them going at the same time. The whole idea is I do a lot of these conferences and I want to stand out. And if you're leaving here going, wow, that was amazing, I've got so many things on. And then all of a sudden there's a video from me that says, thank you for coming. You go, oh, that's the video Chris was talking about. We need to speak to him. How do I book a meeting? Oh, it's the button that's right in front of my face. Click on it, book a meeting in. And 2 weeks ago when I did a conference, 32% of the people in the room booked a meeting off that message that went at 7 o'clock that night. I was slightly helped by the fact that they were quite an alcoholic group of people, and they were all in the bar and they all got the video at the same time, and they were all going, oh my God, look. That's what I've been told anyway. I wasn't in the bar. My last point, and this is a point from today, just fucking do it. And I'm not talking about automation here. I'm talking about actioning anything that's in your mind that you've learned from any of the speakers today. If you've listened to Rachel talking about TikTok and you've gone, oh, TikTok will be a good idea, go out and do it. 3 years ago, I was at a conference and I heard a stat about TikTok that was 52% of adults, 52% of users in the UK at the time were over the age of 25. That blew my mind. Because up until that point, I just thought it was 14-year-olds and people that shouldn't be looking at 14-year-olds. Now, I put out 4 videos a day on TikTok. And the videos that I do put out, I repurpose over LinkedIn. And that's actually where Anne and I met. I bugged Anne because I was at a conference yesterday. I had to be in Birmingham tomorrow. I was like, right, I want to fill out the time. My wife found this event, told me to reach out. My wife was one that sort of first went out to you when she was pretending to be a person in the 3 Ps. We then messaged. You don't know this, but when I called the number for Annika online, which I'm presuming is a virtual number that redirects to somebody's phone, whoever answered it sent me a message back going, I can't talk right now, so I had your mobile number, which meant I had your WhatsApp, which meant I could send you voice notes. And then there was silence for 4 days. I didn't hear anything back at all after reaching out a couple of times, but you went on LinkedIn, saw the videos, and then reached out to me on LinkedIn. There's so much that you want to take away from today. Actually set the time now, go into your calendar, block out time, implement the things that you want to take away from today. That could be what I've talked about, it could be what Rachel's talked about, it could be what anybody has spoken about today. But I guarantee you, if you go into the week and get back into the weeds of what you're doing day in, day out, you'll miss the opportunity that the value of events like this have given you. Other than that, the only last thing is to give me a massive round of applause. This is like exercise for me, to be fair.
Thank you, Chris. We actually, as soon as we spoke to Chris, we actually decided to implement some of these activities around WhatsApp messaging for our lead generation for Facebook. As most of you know, or many of you know, we actually run a lot of training courses and use Facebook for our lead generation. We're hoping to run some more in January, so anybody's based in the East Midlands, there's lots of training happening. We generate a couple of hundred leads, and 20% of them convert into application forms, and then they come on a course. And what we wanted to do was we already were using Zapier to automate that process. And as a result of talking to Chris, we now also send out WhatsApp messages, and they go straight away as well. The other thing we've done as a result of that is also a lot of automation around Google Sheets, where you can actually send emails and automate that process as well. So the whole thing about automation is absolutely revolutionising what we do. So brilliant work that we're doing with Chris. So has anybody got any questions for him?
Somebody always has a question, but they're always worried about putting their hand up first.
No, this crowd up my show. Oh, go on then.
Okay, yes, I'd ask a question. So, how much is it going to cost for a small business? Not necessarily for your services, but for WhatsApp business and what they expect is going to be using the API for that?
Yeah, so WhatsApp for Business is free. You can have a WhatsApp for Business account. You need a separate number and you need a separate phone, generally speaking, for that. WhatsApp's API, there are different ways that you can do it. I do it through a software called Watty, W-A-T-I. I can provide that software to people, but as most of my clients know, it's not what they come to me for. I'm not a software provider. I can provide them. I provide the plan and the customer journey for people. That, they have an entry-level plan, which has a few restrictions, and it's like $49 a month. And then Meta will charge you per WhatsApp message. Now, the distinction here, there are two different types of WhatsApp messages through the API. So those of you that have clicked buttons and got auto replies, they're called session messages. They aren't chargeable. I can have a conversation with anybody in the room that's messaged back. We can go back and forth. The only thing it's charging for are what are called template messages, which are the ones that can be sent automatically. You can also batch send. So I could, to everybody in the room right now, go and send you a WhatsApp message as a broadcast, the same as a broadcast email. That would charge me per message that can be sent.
The only other really good piece of advice that Chris said to us was that in order to protect from a privacy perspective, you've got to do it the way that we've been doing it today, is basically encourage people and tell them you're going to get a message from WhatsApp, so they're expecting it. Otherwise they'll block you. So what we weren't able to do is the previous 1,000 people that we'd already contacted, we couldn't go back to them and say, oh, just sign up my WhatsApp, because they could block your whole account, and if you're running Facebook ads, you definitely don't want your account to be blocked. So you have to be careful you're not spamming, because if you rely on your Facebook account for doing the rest of your business, then that would get you into serious.
In extension to that, those of you that will have been eagle-eyed will notice the first message I sent you automatically from Stage. Underneath, WhatsApp have a little box saying, this is from a number you don't recognise, what do you want to do? And you've got three options. It's okay, report it or block it. So 2/3 of the options WhatsApp present you at that stage aren't great. You have to set that expectation. But what I've been doing with a lot of clients recently, if you've got a lead magnet, this is say a PDF or something that they can download, say to them, fill out this form and we'll WhatsApp you over the PDF. Does two things. One, it starts that conversation, but two, they give their correct phone number, because they're not getting anything unless they give the correct bit of detail. That's a valuable bit of information.
And you'll notice this morning Martin used Zapier when he was setting up his live interactive blog. A lot of this stuff is using Zapier as well. So if you're not aware, Zapier is a piece of software that allows you to automate information from different places. So again, on the same theory about trying to improve your internal processes.
If there are any nerds getting really excited in the room that know Zapier or Zapier, if you know that, anything that can trigger a Zapier flow to start, I can trigger a WhatsApp message from, including when I send people proposals and they reopen it 2 weeks after I've sent it to them if they haven't signed it. They get a video going, hi, you've just reopened the proposal. What questions have you got? It's really effective, really annoying.
I feel
But
that you're a bit stalky.
I'm so nerdy, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Chris. So,
Thank you.
thank you very much.